Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of the no and low money down messaging yet, but I don't even know where I got the idea. I would just get a contract and go, well, I don't really have the money for this, so let me figure this out. So my game, like the whole strategy that got me out of the gate was talking to friends and family and just, I mean, I remember going to just a Christmas party type thing back in my hometown, and I just mentioned it to a couple high school buddies, and they were like, well, we have some money to deploy somewhere. So it kind of went from step to step. And I would pick up these rentals with my partners covering the down payment and also co-signing the loan. And then I would basically pitch to them, this is a passive investment, and here's all the advantages of good, strong Nashville real estate that is backing your investment. And I'll do all the grunt work. I'll do everything. I'll just send you a return.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Allan Smith, is a builder and investor in Nashville, Tennessee with Skyline Development. You can find him online at skydev.llc. Allan, thanks for taking the time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Now, when we talk specifically about Nashville, I think this is a market which has been hot for 20 years, but we're now seeing more people, at least I'm seeing more people get into Nashville and interested in the surrounding areas of Nashville. So I'd like to talk about what good looks like if you're investing in the greater Nashville area. First, I'll ask you, how long have you been investing in the greater Nashville area?
Oh, I bought a house in about 2013 and started renting out the rooms. So I did the house hacking thing and then started getting more serious a few years after that. So, you know, 10, 12 years, something like that.
Now, if we go back to 2013, different market, pretty much everywhere
Mm,
you were in the country. What was it like at that point in time? What was the price points of a single family home in Nashville? Where were you finding those deals?
man, it was so different. Well, I was doing the yellow letter thing back then, real early on. I was handwriting in red ink, yellow letters, sending them out, and people would call. I mean, like, my response rate was 10, 20% of people just, what's this? You want to buy my house? And I would go and look at their house. And yeah, I mean, most of the offers I was making was definitely under 200K. Uh, I mean, you could just buy houses for such a different price back then. And things have been so developed since then. But the competition was a lot less. People would call you if you sent out letters or, nobody's really texting or doing anything fancy yet. But it was quite the time to be alive back then.
Now, were you primarily, if we're talking 2013, 2014, 2015 timeframe, were you looking at buying and holding? Were you looking at a quick flip or a rehab and hold on these properties?
So I started out with just when I was renting out the rooms, I just caught the bug of like how awesome this is to collect rental income that pays my mortgage and a little bit extra. And I own the property, the whole 9 yards with rentals. So I got hooked on that. And I was sending out yellow letters with the intentions of just buying rentals. That was my main target. Let's buy some rentals. Let's get that. In fact, my vision at the time was buy 10, quit my job and just go service the water heater swaps or whatever myself. So things have evolved since then. But um, I I was sending out those letters just for that. And then for a while, I really was just buying rentals. And then it evolved as, you pick up a property or a contract here and there, which is not as good of a rental as it is a flip. So then I started dabbling and I would wholesale a couple here and there, but I was never great at cranking out wholesale deals.
Now, did you grow up in the business? Were you surrounded by real estate growing up, or how'd you start looking into wholesaling and finding properties off market?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, good point. No, I didn't really know anybody in real estate or doing any of this stuff. I just had kind of like a life mentor type guy. He was a young professional and he was like, man, well, if you got a job, I wish I'd went and bought a house, and you could even rent out the rooms or something. So I thought, that's ridiculous. What do I need a house for? I'm just totally different mindset. And then I thought about it a little bit and decided to go for it. And then, this was still the age of like, it was early, but you could go online and learn about real estate. Like people were offering information out there. There was podcasts. There was not nearly as much information as there is now, but there was resources. So I just kind of tapped into that and tried to invest in myself, learn some stuff, and then I started taking a stab at it. So it can be done, without having the big network or growing up in it or whatever. I just kind of went for it. My family thought I was crazy. I was going to quit my job to go send yellow letters or whatever, and they were like, why? Well, why is there going to be health insurance? Like, no, there's not health insurance. Worked
That
out.
was what I was just going to ask you. What was the reception like? When people are going through that change, that's one of the biggest factors. Is well, what's going to happen? You mentioned health insurance, so there's no health insurance when you're out doing this on your own. Now, you were buying and holding these deals. Was there something specific about the buy and hold strategy? Were you thinking in your head, hey, I have a goal to get to. I want to get to this number of doors? Because it was early back then, but I'm imagining there was some messaging going on out there for, invest in real estate or get started, no money down. But you stuck with, I think a good strategy that has stood the test of time, which is, buy and hold.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of the no and low money down messaging yet, but I don't even know where I got the idea. I would just get a contract and go, well, I don't really have the money for this, so let me figure this out. So my game, like the whole strategy that got me out of the gate was talking to friends and family and just, I mean, I remember going to just a Christmas party type thing back in my hometown, and I just mentioned it to a couple high school buddies, and they were like, well, we have some money to deploy somewhere. So it kind of went from step to step. And I would pick up these rentals with my partners covering the down payment and also co-signing the loan. And then I would basically pitch to them, this is a passive investment, and here's all the advantages of good, strong Nashville real estate that is backing your investment. And I'll do all the grunt work. I'll do everything. I'll just send you a return. And that was kind of the pitch. So they wanted to get in on that. That's what was able to get me through like level one, if you can call it that. Like I was just borrowing, just bring in friends and family, and we would get a bank loan too. They would do 80% or whatever, and that was what made the thing start. And I've just held on to them ever since. I don't want to part with it. You don't want to sell the golden goose, but
Yeah.
sometimes you got to look at your eye and your equity and stuff. But
Now, when did the focus start to move towards being a builder? There's a lot. That's a different space. It is sometimes gate kept, and a lot of people stay away from that space because there is a barrier to entry, especially when you're doing ground up construction. How'd you get into that side of the game?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Man, I think I would just send out yellow letters and someone would say, "I wanna sell some land," and I don't even I think it all started I bought a rental package of, like, 4 units, and he's like, "You can just have this lot." It was like an $8,000 lot, "You can just have it." And then I thought, "Well, heck, what can we do with this?" Ran some numbers, kinda looked into things a little bit to see what the options were, and I hired a builder to build a rental, and I was shocked by how well it went. Like, the numbers were good, the build popped up and was pretty cheap, and so then we did a few more of those and then tried some in some other towns, and by then I was starting to notice Nashville was and that was kinda like on the perimeter of Nashville, but now I was noticing the core of Nashville was there's a lot of guys doing builds and just new builds everywhere, and the flips were getting more and more competitive, and I hired a GC or 2 that was just extremely disappointing, to put it respectfully, and I thought, "Ah, heck, I mean, I can't be any worse than that. I'll just go get my license and try this out." So then that did become the new core focus for me about 4 years ago. I said,
Was
"Alright,
in
we're" Yeah, that's right about when it was. I think I got my license at the end of 21. So my focus since then has mostly been buying land or flips, and I have a small team to operate this the construction and the admin and everything, and that's been our focus. It's a different kind of game, but yeah, we
Yeah.
can get more
I
into
mean,
that.
the the ability to pivot is really a hallmark of an effective real estate operator because I got in to real estate around 2023. So I was seeing like peak, it's hard to be a flipper right now type of energy happening in real estate. So you saw it happening, right at kind of where property values were either at the peak or maybe coming down off the top of the peak. And certainly, it's harder to be a flipper during the last couple of years than it was pre 2020. What, in Nashville specifically, at that point in time, were you seeing, we're talking 2020, 2021, were you seeing lots of flips happening and then also, lots of ground up construction to where it's harder to be a flipper just because there's new builds that are, sometimes cheaper than a flip?
Mm. Yeah, it things had evolved. There's more builders out there. The flip prices were going crazy. Things have softened now, but just to buy a flip, you were outbidding. I mean, I'll never forget. I forget what year it was, but a wholesaler sent out a deal, and thought, oh, that's pretty close to a numbers that make sense. Let me go look at it and see what the repairs would be. And they did kind of an open house type thing. Oh my gosh, there must have been 30 people at this thing. Just a regular, vacant, ugly house in Nashville, not even on the market. And I thought this is insane. I can't even what are we supposed to do here? So the flips were and then the guy buys it and just pays like this absurd price, more than everybody else. And I just thought, okay, we gotta stay on our toes. So I agree with you. You gotta pivot, you gotta keep moving as things evolve. And I think that every real estate cycle has opportunity, but you got to like choose to go find it. So now that I'm doing developments, like I'm doing them differently. Sure, they sell a little bit more difficult, and the land prices have stabilized, but they haven't really come down. So there's a few levers to pull to kind of optimize things as good as you can.
Now, I'd like to talk specifically about areas of Nashville and for folks who may be looking at getting into investing in the greater Nashville area or in the urban sprawl of Nashville. Do you have any geographic portions of Nashville that you're particularly bullish on or that you like investing, whether it's as a single family ground up or, a fix and flip?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I'll say this, like around, was it 2017, 2018, there were pockets that were blowing up. Elizabeth Park, Germantown, the Nations is real famous. That was, people were tearing down one house, building two, and it was starting to ramp up. I personally, this could be totally inaccurate. I personally don't feel like there's that big of a difference anymore. I mean, now the neighborhoods are pretty simple. Like, is that a desirable area to live in? Then okay, your build will sell well. And that's what I've experienced. The builds in good neighborhoods, they sell in 3 or 4 weeks in this market. But then I've built some more on the fringe in like Old Hickory and Madison. And it's just not as desirable of an area. There's industrial nearby, there's train tracks, crime's probably a little bit higher too. And I have found that houses sell more difficult there, but it's not like there's this, I don't sense a huge variation throughout the county itself. It's kind of like, is it a decently desirable area? You can tell by just driving through it once, and then, or is it not? But back in the day, there was hot pockets that were blown up.
Do you see? I also see a huge contingency of investors looking for infill lots. This seems to be such a big
hmm
thing that if you're a wholesaler with an infill lot, you're sitting on a golden goose. Are you seeing more interest from investors and developers like yourself in infill lots?
Infill lots have been the thing for a while now, and I think it's just basically a law of geography, really. That's all that's left in cities. You can either go outside the city a little bit, like you'll see this in Antioch or White House, Tennessee, some of the areas that are pushing out more towards the edge where there's still flat buildable land, you'll see somebody just take a couple acres and go through the zoning process and turn it into something buildable. Believe it or not, there's people with like horse farms just all over the place still. So you can do the whole project and break it out into parcels, sell it to a builder or do it yourself or whatever. But in the city and in these developed neighborhoods, there's fewer and fewer, just a lot laying there waiting to be built.
Right.
So the infill is the way to go. And most of the time it involves a tear down. Nashville's had a lot of tear downs, and the zoning typically, a lot of the zonings allow two houses to be built. It's called an HPR. It's a pretty famous term here, but I think it confuses people in other areas.
The infill lots are definitely like you mentioned, just because there's fewer spaces, right? So if you're looking for building in a city or doing any type of real estate investing with big value add in the single family space, you're either going to be looking at buying a heavily distressed property, which could be close to a tear down anyhow, or you're looking at, in many cases, an infill lot or something that is going to be a tear down. And so I've been seeing a lot of that. We are coming up on time here, though, Allan. Any new projects that you're working on? And then as well, what's the best way for folks to get in contact with your team?
Well, this year we're working on scaling up the construction. We're going to be doing more projects for other folks, and then we're doing more flips and builds for us. And nothing too out of the ordinary, just kind of keep that trajectory going of growing bit by bit. And then probably the best way for folks to reach me is just on Instagram. My handle is Investor Allan, Allan. Get a hold of me there. We have the website which you mentioned at the beginning, skydev.llc. Can get a hold of me there too. And yeah, happy to help. If anybody has questions or needs anything, I'm here as a resource.
Allan, thanks so much for coming on the show. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.